Aloha and shalom. We're here for the full moon activation. Sweet. Make sure you're hydrated. All right, get you set up here. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. And for those of you who it's your first time here, welcome to the activation portal. It's actually not open yet. We're opening it up together right now, right here, right now. In a way, it's always open. But as we come together, we really create the space. That's why I love to go live and do this all together. So, on that note, while we're shuffling and preparing here, let me know in the comments where in the world you're tuning in from. Where in the world are you? What space are you lighting up right now with your presence? I'm tuning in from the Verde Valley, Northern Arizona. Phoenix in the house. Let us know where you are. And this is the full moon activation, Michigan in the house. So this is all about everything we've been going through in this cycle so far coming to a head. It's not the end of the cycle, right? Because the final quarter is the integration and the ending before beginning a new one. So this is just like the pinnacle where everything is getting really clear and everything is illuminated. Australia in the house, Texas in the house. So this is the reveal all. And remember, it's not really about the moon. The moon is a measurement of time. It's something that unites us. It's a simple symbol that's reflecting something that's going on back of all things. So again, it's not really about the moon. The moon is just an easy reflection for us to all unite and understand where we're at, what part of the process we're currently experiencing. Ohio in the house. Sweet. I'm going to do the same thing with the Hebrew cards. And I know I said I'd make these decks for you guys, but I just haven't gotten around to it. All these years I've been just running into one project after the next. And so I'm sorry that y'all are still asking and I still don't have them. But this is a handmade deck, y'all. So if I was going to hand make them all, it would take forever. But one day I'll get them to you. One day. And feel free to share this video now while we're live. Maybe you know someone who could really use a positive message right now, some inspiration, someone who's hurting, someone who could use some upliftment, or maybe you know someone who could help us activate this portal further. So send this to them right now while we're live, or feel free to wait till the end and share the recording. It will be on YouTube and Instagram, Rebecca Magic, as usual, for anyone not on Facebook. But just a suggestion, if you have a favorite group on Facebook of people that are doing the good work, share it there, multiply the magic. Share it wisely. You know what to do. All right. Giving thanks in advance for this magic that's about to come through. Thank we, thank me, thank you, thank the one. The archetypes are the building blocks of all reality, so we're really thanking the one when we say thank you to them. So we're giving thanks in advance for this message that's about to come through, this map, so that we can move forward at this part of the process with the most grace and ease, with maximum proficiency as one collective unit. So what is the current focus, the challenge and gift as all is being illuminated right now? What's the thing we're stepping away from? And when I say stepping away, all the archetypes are always with us. So what I really mean is it's sort of like a launching pad, you know, like what is the energy we've been experiencing and how can we go from that into where we are at now? And what's a peek into the future? And if you've been here before, you understand that we can't really predict the future, right? But we can see what the next part of the cycle is, because the cycle is eternal, never ending, and it's the most reliable thing we can look forward to, right? So the material circumstances aren't written, but the next part of the cycle certainly is. So that's what we mean when we say, let's get a peek into the future. All right. Thank you again. Beginning with the focus, the challenge, and gift. Page of Pentacles, we're starting off with a court card. Pages are the youthful aspects of each suit, and this is Pentacles, so it's the suit of creation. Thoughts to things, mind to matter. So, what does this mean for the current focus at the time of this full moon? What's being illuminated is all of our new creations, whether or not it's working out for us. And let me be clear as to what that means. We have the opportunity now to use this extra light, this extra illumination, to review what we've been working on, right, in our minds and in our realities. What have we been giving our energy to? What have we been creating, manifesting? Is it worth it? Is it working? Do we need to redirect our energies? How do we begin to answer those questions? We've got to have a true knowing of who we really are and why we're really here in order to even be able to answer those questions honestly and thoroughly. Meaning, when we ask ourselves, what have we been working to create? Is it in not only our best interest, but in the best interest of the one, of the collective consciousness? Is what you've been doing feeding the well-being, the wellness, the prosperity of the one? If so, how? If not, how can you shift your process? And even if it has been, how can you maximize the potential? How can you make what you are weaving into more of a project of prosperity for the one? So now's the time to really use this extra light, shine it upon our situation, and ask, how can I do this in a new way? How can I do this in a way that's going to bring more wellness to the one? And of course, first start with yourself. How can I bring more wellness to myself? Meaning, how can I do things, think things, and say things, and do things in a new way, in a way that's going to help me call in more opportunities for weaving the light of the one into all that I think, say, and do. And what is the light of the one but the light of compassion? It's the all-virtuous light. And in order to weave compassion into our lives, into our world and our shared world, it's simply about doing acts of goodness. So how can I create more opportunities to think virtuously, to think in a frequency of virtue, think in the frequency of compassion? How can I make this a game and look at all the projects I'm currently into, including relationships? Relationships are like projects, right? They're creations that we've manifested. So how can I, within every situation I'm currently active in my reality, weave in opportunities to think more compassionately, to speak more compassionately, and to behave with more compassion? And this is how we ace the Page of Pentacles right now. Okay? So something that comes up is, what are you working on that's new? And how have you maybe gotten so excited about it that you're rushing into it? And you can actually benefit by slowing down and weaving in this lesson into your new project. For example, if you've been creating a new space, or you have a new job or a new relationship, how can I slow down and really, with the light of this full moon, right, and all that represents, look at this situation and ask, whoa, how can I give thanks for this, not only as a new opportunity, but as a new opportunity for me to bring more of the light of goodness into this world? Let me remember to slow down and connect my purpose to this new creation, to this new project, to this new way of thinking, remembering what it's really for. And the Hierophant, I love that this is what we're launching from. We're launching from, right? This is the past card. And this was the future card last week. So we should now be launching from this place. And what is the Hierophant? It's the heart. It's the holy breath of the one within us. It's the guru within your center. So we're moving away from the need to continue to develop that, right? We're always developing it. All the archetypes are always present. But this was a particular focus recently. And now we have to trust that we've done our round of this work. We'll return again, but we've done as much as we could right now to connect to that teacher. And now it's a time to act on that guru within. It's a time to act on the voice of that heart, that guru within, the truth within. So trusting that we have attuned our heart's compass, which is what the Hierophant represents, and now it's time to act. How am I going to put that love and that truth into all of my new creations, into all of my new projects, into all of my renewed energy? I must be sure to connect the truth, the light, the love that's in the center of my heart to all of my new projects and creations. That's why you did this. That's why you've been doing this. That's why you've been focusing on your heart. Simply making that connection in thought of like, oh yeah, I did all this work in my heart. I've really connected to this place of truth, light, love, compassion. Of course, all the new things that I'm doing right now are going to come to that place. And you can see like a string of light coming from your heart and into your projects, right? Or like out of through your heart and out of your hands, like electromagnetism, right? Sort of like Spider-Man. And you're putting that string of light into all that you do. Just this simple exercise of connecting your process, this thought to this thought, creates a neural pathway in your mind that then manifests as a bridge in reality. Because as it is in one dimension, so it is in all. As within, so without. So when you create a new neural pathway, that's literally a bridge, right, in your mind. And you then must look out for that bridge, see how it is, no doubt, manifesting in your reality as an opportunity. Because that's what it is. When we make these connections in our mind, we bridge the thoughts. That bridge is then manifested as a physical opportunity for us to do something with that light in this world. Okay, so we're launching from that place of the heart, all that work we've been doing to connect to the inner teacher and bringing those teachings into our creations. Wow, so we're surrounded by two major arcanums. See, this is why I love doing this live with you guys. So we have a court card in the center and we're surrounded by two major arcanums, right? And so Temperance, aka the Alchemist, is what we're stepping into. And 14 is right in between 13 and 15, right? Death, and then the Alchemist, right? And then the Devil. So what we're stepping into is a fresh start, a new story to write. So how can we begin to see that story right now before we even write it? How can we see it writing itself as we observe whatever it is we're creating right now? And as we imbue the light into whatever it is we're creating, how can you... Wow, it's like the two worlds connect when we do this exercise. And what the exercise is this. Looking at all the new things that we're doing, infusing the light into it, and seeing what that's going to look like in a week, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a couple months from now, next year. What is that going to look like when you've imbued the light of purpose into all of your new projects? What is that going to bring? And when you think into the future like that, not only do you begin to manifest it, you also, with more ease, begin to infuse that purpose and light into what you're doing. It helps your process right now of imbuing purpose into what you're doing become a reality. Because you become more inspired when you envision the future results of what it's going to look like when you've done that, when you've woven your purpose into what you're doing. It helps you to weave it even further right here, right now. It gives you that motivation and inspiration to continue on and to go deeper, to be more thorough in this process, to be more present with this process of imbuing purpose. Do you understand that? The more you envision what that's going to bring for you in the future, the more you can really be present right now to put that purpose in and take all of your energy and presence to really do that, because you know it's going to be worth it, because you've conceived those visions within your own mind. No one outside of you told you that's what's going to happen. It's coming from the deepest place within yourself. So if you can right now see how putting purpose into all that you're thinking, saying, and doing for the one, if you can see how that's going to twist and turn and shape and alchemize your creations into the highest frequency, and you can envision what that's going to look like within your relationships, within your environment, within your body. Maybe it's going to bring more health. Maybe it's going to bring more peace. Of course it's going to bring more health. Of course it's going to bring more peace. Of course it's going to bring more goodness to the world, because that's what happens when you put purpose, when you put the light of goodness into your thoughts, into your speech, and into your actions. That's what happens. It brings prosperity for one and all. So when you can envision what that's actually going to look like in manifestation, it gives you that excitement to totally stay present with the process right now. And then when you get to this place, this inevitable place that we're heading into, this next part of the cycle, the alchemist, temperance, you won't be like, what story am I going to write next? Because the story's already writing itself. All you're focused on doing is being your best, doing your best, doing acts of goodness, which is the eternal law. You don't even have to think. You just got to be familiar with the virtues. You got to be familiar with the virtues. And as you embody each of the virtues and actualize the light of honesty, kindness, patience, forgiveness, all of those virtues, right? Modesty, all those things. As you do more acts of each of them, they begin to really make a home in your heart. And then what happens is they synergize, right? So the all virtuous light of compassion, the all virtuous light is the song of compassion. And when that white light, that all infinite light, goes through the prism and breaks up into the rainbow and becomes all the different virtues, then what do you think happens? As you embody each of the virtues and you do more acts of each of them, they really find their place in your heart and they begin to fuse together and harmonize as the song of compassion. So we're beings of multiplicity. Sometimes it's hard to just go straight to compassion, straight to that godly energy. And so what we do is we focus on the smaller pieces, the virtues that are parts of the all virtuous light. And we take it moment by moment and we look each moment for opportunities to embody any given virtue. And as we just stay with that process, we begin to cultivate more and more of that light, emit more and more of that light. And together they all become compassion within you. Right? So this whole process is a lot more effortless and graceful when we just focus on that, on making everything a game. How can I access every opportunity to be a virtuous person? In all moments, look for the opportunity. Oh, it's so easy. The opportunities are ever present to be more honest, patient, kind. It never ends, even if you think, I am such a good person. There are constantly new opportunities to prove that to yourself, because there's only one. So it's like looking like, where can I find an opportunity to be honest? Where can I be more patient? And do it with joy and do it with presence and awareness as to what that act is when you're really doing it. To know how powerful it is when you're doing it with humility. Understanding who you're doing it for is not really for you, it's for the one. And especially looking for when it's difficult to embody those higher frequencies, because that's where the greatest alchemy happens, right? When we take things from the darkness to the light, when it's easy to be patient, when it's easy to be honest, we're not really making a ripple, you know what I'm saying? So it's about looking for when it's really difficult. And also being that light around others who find it really difficult. Because when you give off that inspiration, then what happens is their darkness then has the potential to come to the light. So for example, right, like think of Jesus and the story of Jesus performing miracles in front of many with humility, knowing that he needed to perform those miracles with witnesses, right? And there have been many prophets who have performed miracles in front of others with humility, doing it so that others could believe. You've got to know with certainty, you've got to have that faith, that level of faith that it will happen, the miracle will happen, and then take it a step further and with humility say, I want to show this to everyone because I want others to believe too. But if the humility is not present, it doesn't work, right? Humility and courage, those are two of the foundational virtues that we need to have before we can even touch the others, right? Because if we're honest but without humility, then it's not really honesty, right? Or if we're honest but without bravery, we might not be as honest as we possibly could be, right? Like we want to go all the way to maximize our ability to shine the light of compassion. Okay, so bringing it back. We're launching from this place of the heart, weaving that light into everything we're creating and manifesting right now. And in doing this and observing ourselves and seeing the trajectory of where this is headed and how our lives are going to shift, what it's really actually, materialistically speaking, going to look and feel like down the line, helps us to effortlessly write the next part of our story in our lives. And the Hebrew ally of the week is the Tet, the Hebrew letter Tet. And it's connected to Arcanum 9, the Hermit, aka the Sage. And the Sage comes with, you guessed it, humility and prudence. Knowing our purpose, knowing who we are and why we're here. So if we can have that humility and we can know our purpose here is to bring heaven to earth, is to cultivate knowledge and apply it with wisdom to our lives, to our reality, then we can move through this process with so much grace and ease because the sage, the hermit, knows what the heart is and what we're here to do with it. And so then the hermit takes proper action, knows what to do and when to do it, right? What comes after the 9, the 10, the wheel, which is all about right timing, okay? So the sage, the hermit, knows to act always from the heart, that we work from the heart for the heart. And we have to take action to bring that light into this reality, this material reality. And the hermit, the sage, knows that we are the ones with the pen in our hand. There's always going to be a next chapter. And after 14 comes 15, the devil, inevitable lessons. That doesn't make us paralyzed in fear. That doesn't make us not write the next part of the story. We can't stop the process. So if we walk this process as the sage, as the hermit, the one who knows with prudence and with wisdom and with humility, then surely we will act from the right place for the right source. They are one, the heart. We'll take proper action, doing what we need to, when we should, at the perfect moment, divine time. Because the sage knows about divine order and there's nothing outside of that. The sage knows that. And so the sage has their eye on this divine order and acts accordingly. And the sage knows that we don't need to make it a difficult process to write the next chapter of our story. It shouldn't be so difficult. If we just observe our process, we can imagine the trajectory. We can imagine the outcome because we're creating it. And then the story writes itself. Tet. You can look it up. Hebrew letter Tet. T-E-T. Put it on your altar. Make it your phone background. So are you ready to allow goodness to lead? Are you ready to allow the light to guide your way for real? Then all it's going to take right now is pausing, slowing down, and remembering to connect that thread of light, truth, love from your heart into your creative process right now. Every part of your creative process, all of your creative processes, string that light in, baby. And then allow your imagination to see how all of your creative processes are going to turn out with the support of the light of truth woven into each one, infused with each one. You know what the outcome is going to be if you imagine that light woven into your process. You just have to ask yourself, am I committed? As long as you're committed and you're going to keep it up and continue to weave that light of truth, light, love into your process, then you know what it's going to look like. You know the outcome, what it's going to be. And that right there is you writing the next chapter of your story, being sure, being certain as to what it's going to look like, what the outcome is going to be. Simply because you are making the commitment right here and now to continue that process of weaving the light of truth into everything you're doing right now. And this lesson is not just for right now. We're using this as a ritual to lock in this lesson for all of the years to come, so that we can find ease and we can find solace in this process of the never-ending story. We're always going to have to write the next chapter, but how can we make that a more easy and graceful process, allowing it to kind of unfold on its own without giving up accountability, without giving up our power, but just making it a little less daunting by knowing that all we have to do is focus on embodying and actualizing the light of goodness, the light of the virtues, the light of the all-virtuous compassion. And if we just do that and connect that process to our material reality, whatever projects we have going on, and see, oh, well, this project is obviously going to have this outcome if I continue to be honest, be kind, be patient, be loving, then of course, success is guaranteed. And I can begin to then, with certainty, imagine what that's going to look like. And there I have a vision of the next chapter of my story, without needing to struggle to find the answers as to how that's going to be or what it's going to look like. I can relax now, because before it might have been difficult, right? Because I might have thought, oh wow, this story is never ending. Oh my God, it never ends. Gosh, it's always the next thing and the next thing. But how can I take a step back? Right? Like the hermit does, take a step back from it all. See from the outside in and go, oh yeah, it's never ending. Let me shift my perspective on that and say, wow, at least I can rely on the knowing that all I have to do is embody and actualize the light of goodness. That's all I ever have to do, regardless of what it looks like in my material reality. And then as I connect my material circumstances to these acts of goodness, again, I can be certain as to what the outcome is going to be. The only thing that would change that is my own commitment. And if I'm committing, then I know. As long as I stay committed, I know what the outcome is going to be. And that's the story writing itself. Yeah, so we can make this load a lot lighter and make this process a lot more graceful and easy when we, what some would call, give it up to God. Let it go, surrender it. Doesn't mean sit here and do nothing. Giving it up to God or surrendering the extra weight, the heaviness. It just means focusing on doing acts of goodness. That's it. Simplifying our process and trusting that the Creator has the rest. So we have the opportunity to do that right now and understand that in a whole new way. Understand that in a deeper way. right? Because as humans, we want to know, we want to understand the details. We want to really know, but what do you mean give it up to God? Well, here's a little peek into the details of that from behind the scenes. We're being shown that, well, what it means to give it up to God is to just focus on your role, which is to simply do acts of goodness. In order to embody and actualize the light of compassion, all we have to do every moment is look for more opportunities to embody any of the virtues, because they're all rivers that lead to the ocean of compassion. So if we just simplify and focus on that, the opportunities will continue to come, the opportunities for goodness. And as we be good, do good, be kind, all those things, then material circumstances and material opportunities will materialize in reflection of that. And because we'll be so seated in our hearts, we'll be so seated in the truth and connected to our intuition and our logic, because the heart is both. It's where the two meet as one, intuition and logic, right? So we'll be so seated in that space of the heart that we'll be so locked into that vision and voice of intuition and logic united. And we will know exactly which material opportunities to take on or say no thank you. We will have the wisdom simply by continuing to be good, do good. We will receive the wisdom through anchoring into that place in the heart. We'll receive the wisdom to know where to go every moment. And the story will write itself. So thank you, wise ones, for doing this work with me, for being here with me at this time on this planet and doing this work. We can let it go. We can collect our energies and just be good, be kind, be loving, be compassionate. And we are already that. It's just that we're in a world of action, and we're here to act on what is already within us as much as possible. I always see like a little bicycle, and it's like generating electricity as we go. But when we stop, when we slow down, that light is not being generated, right? So the bicycle is like doing acts of goodness. And if we keep it going, the light keeps getting generated and glowing and growing and expanding and reaching farther. So it's like a motor, right? So we need to keep going. Let's go. We got this. Let's make it fun. Let's make it fun. Chag Sameach to everyone celebrating the High Holy Days right now. Expect the miracles. Times are rough in this world, so we've got to remember that to the degree that there is darkness is equal to the degree that we can manifest the light, right? So don't let it get you down. This is the time we are here for. This is the time we were made for. So stay strong, stay positive, continue to generate that light of goodness, because there's nothing else you can do. And there's nothing else we came here to do. And it's the easiest thing we can do. So just do it. Okay, let's just do it. And if you want to get to know your archetypes more, if you want to get to know your allies more, meaning if you want to get to know yourself more, because they are yourself, our one self, please reach out to me. I've got my books, the Archetypal Alliance, the Royal Path 1 and the Royal Path 2, which is about the minor arcanum. So the two books are the complete deck, which really means the complete you. So if you say no, that's like saying no thanks, I don't really want to know myself. Yeah, you do. Everybody does. That's why we came here. So if you want to learn about those aspects of yourself through my style of teaching, please reach out for my books or my video course. I can literally send it to your email. It's hours and hours long. There's a 60 to 90 minute video for each of the major arcanum cards. And then, of course, we have the minor arcanum course. We're just a few classes in right now. We're 4 videos in, 3 classes, 1 is 2 parts. So if you're interested, please reach out. I am doing one-on-one readings right now. I do video chat readings, one-on-one live. I also do recorded readings, which I'm available for immediately for recorded readings. So reach out to me if you have any questions about that. You can private message me or email me info@royalpathtarot.com. info@royalpathtarot.com, or private message me. Tarot readings also make the best gifts for anyone at any time, no matter what you're experiencing, no matter what they're experiencing. You want to get a gift that's personal. Holidays are coming up. Maybe you've got a birthday. for a friend coming up. It's truly the gift that keeps on giving. It brings the gift of eternal light. It's so consider that, okay? And if you want to give back for these activations, if you've been enjoying them, please consider making a donation. You can Venmo me, Rebecca-Magic. My name is spelled magic with a CK. You can see it right here. I've got PayPal, I've got Zelle. There are other ways. Just reach out to me, or please just consider leaving a review. Go to facebook.com/royalpathtarot and you can leave a star rating at the top. I would love that. And if all of that is just too complicated, please just send me your words. Leave a comment, private message me, and let me know how these activations have affected you. And one last thing, we do have our private groups, the Royal Path, the Archetypal Alliance, Walkers of the Royal Path. So you can look it up, the Archetypal Alliance. We've been doing that one for years, and you can share how these activations are affecting you. Maybe you have something to add to the activation there. And we also have our other private group, Shabbat Crew, Shabbat, Shabbat Crew, if you want to get more into the Kabbalah. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. I will see you next week for the final quarter so that we can see how we worked with these energies and close up one cycle and prepare for the next. Shalom.